Ignorado sa ukwego. Akte desa. Hadat. Ignorado sa ukwego kananyawan na bakwa hasinis. Nata sa wadara nota. Ignorado na ukwego tatawana na ignorado na Sanstanza sa kayera, ignorado ni yate instanza. Ignorado sa kwego tatawana. So I ask you to come closer because this is an issue that we all share and we all have to get together. And I ask the cameramen to allow the people who have come here today, who have taken their Saturdays to come and help us unite in solidarity against ongoing colonization. Give them some space if you don't mind. And we want you to have space too. But I want the people to hear because they're going to be the ones who are going to make the changes. In 2013, the UN Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues said that violence is multifaceted in nature and cannot be separated from colonization. It is part of the historical process. For unless within a week, nationally, we have been so disappointed and frustrated and angered at the lack of justice for the youth, the indigenous youth in this country. It is amazing that people still wait and believe what politicians tell them, that change is going to come. We have been told that for generations. We were told that during the Royal Proclamation, which by the way is not an indigenous Magna Carta at all. At all. Because the way indigenous people have been treated in this country for centuries is that the police should secure the public from us, and that our security doesn't matter. To the point where children, indigenous children, are being raped and murdered, and the justice system fails them because there is no systematic coordination between departments to help in the child welfare system, that poverty is still an excuse for social workers to take away children from their families. And we know that the poverty that indigenous people experience in this rich country is rooted in colonization, ongoing colonization. There is no excuse in 2018 for this. In 2004, Amnesty International Canada and the Native Women's Association of Canada released a Stolen Sisters report. And everything, I reread it this morning and yesterday, and everything in it is exactly what is still going on here in Canada. Nothing has changed. The rhetoric is the same from politicians. And the policing authorities still treat us as if we are not human beings. They treat our children as if their lives are not important. What are we supposed to do? Both families of these poor youth that have been taken too soon from us have called for peace. Never once have indigenous people rioted on the streets for the violations of our human rights. We didn't riot on the streets when we heard about the Indian residential school and what happened to children there under the state care. We didn't riot when the verdict came down for Colton Boucher, and we're not rioting today because we are always calling for peace. We are always asking Canadians to help us. Let's live peacefully amongst each other. And nobody hears us. Why? Because you're not teaching your children and youth what their history of colonization has done to indigenous people. You are not. And the Stolen Sisters report, just like the Truth and Reconciliation's calls to action, has said, cultural sensitization for judges, for lawyers, for social workers, for everybody who provides a service in the public sector about indigenous people and our reality in the history of colonization that has not happened. because politicians are only concerned about their next election and satisfying the rich corporations, continually satisfying the constituents who promote racism. We are not of any value. And Mr. Trudeau, this is evident that we are not your most important relationship. That we are, in fact, the same as it has always been, disposable. And this is why I'm asking you, as citizens of your country, and let's put politics aside between the French and the English, let's look at the humanity of this. And let's bring some changes, some fundamental changes to respect the human rights of children, Indigenous children. The UN treaty bodies have told Canada that they must implement a process and measures that provide the safety and security of Indigenous women and girls. They said that decades ago. Decades ago. And it says that if any private individual inflicts harm upon Indigenous women and girls, then the state is responsible to provide the measures needed to bring the guilty to justice.
That's right.
And it has failed once again.
Shame!
Indigenous children. These are children we're talking about. These are children who are just starting their lives, who feel so marginalized in a country, in our own homelands. This is our homelands. It's not across the ocean. This is where we come from as Indigenous people. We are the first peoples of this land, of this beautiful Turtle Island. And now as I was walking over here, I see all the cigarette butts on the ground. The way we treat the earth is the way we are treating the children. That they are a commodity. That unless they follow the rules of the rich, that we become just another marching soldier on behalf of colonization, that we will fit in and we will be accepted. Well, no way. We have been saying that for many years. No way. Canada is guilty, just as guilty as the people who killed Tina Fontaine, who killed Colton Boushie. They are guilty because they are not implementing any measures that provide security for the children of this world. They are guilty, and we, as Indigenous peoples, should be making complaints internationally because Canada fails once again. What does it take? What does it take? I want to know because I don't have the answer. I have been working in human rights for decades and looking at all these wonderful words on paper that talk about the inherent worth and dignity of a human being, and that all people should have the rights and access to security of human rights, regardless of their race, regardless of their gender, regardless of any differences. But in Canada, that is not true. It is evident in what the decisions we have seen in this last few weeks of those who have been murdered and killed. They were put on trial. Their characters were put on trial, as if they deserved it. And if nobody speaks out for these people who cannot speak anymore for them, if we allow the government of Canada and its authorities and all the public sectors to continue this racist discrimination, then what does that say about your society? What does that say about your values and your culture? It is no different than 500 years ago when Europeans first came here and didn't think we were human, and so declared the land empty, terra nullius, this doctrine of discovery. Get rid of the history programs that say the frontier, the West had to be won and had to be fought by killing Indigenous people. Haven't you killed enough of us? There's enough of us that have been lost. There are all kinds of wonderful human rights instruments that are there. Demand that all your politicians and authorities, policing authorities, know what that is, not just the criminal code. demand that there be the history of colonization taught in all your institutions, to all your politicians, to all your social workers. Because justice is not just about retribution for getting that person in jail. Justice is about the healing of our people. Justice is about hearing those words that lift everybody up. And we are trying to lift up those families who have lost their children they will never return again. If the police went on evidence that was flimsy, what does that say about the police and what they think about Indigenous women? From Helen Betty Osborne to before that, where the police knew who the guilty were and yet did nothing and said nothing. Don't do what they do. Don't follow their example. Speak out. Write your members of parliament. Write your members of the National Assembly. Write the Premier of Quebec. Write the Sûreté Quebec, the Montreal Police, the RCMP, the police forces right across, because we know we don't need any more evidence to show how guilty Canada is in the murders of our young people, of Indigenous women, of Indigenous men. They are guilty. And no amount of words that they can say now will change things unless they show through their actions. Words are empty. Actions will demonstrate everything. And so read the Stolen Sisters report of Amnesty International. C'est en français aussi. Read the Royal Commission on Aboriginal Peoples that talked about this issue before. Read the many reports at the UN Permanent Forum. And then think about what you're teaching your children and your grandchildren. Because every life is important. Every life is worth something, no matter what that person is doing. The sovereignty begins with us as human beings, and that's what we are. We're not robots. We think about love, respect, courage. We think about honoring our ancestors. So thank you all for being here today, because this shows that you want to make a difference. You go to all the organizers, justice for Tina and justice for all our sisters who are murdered and missing, justice for all our young boys and the men who have gone missing. We have to make change. It's not enough what we're doing, as evidence in what has happened in the last week. So thank you all. Peace be in your minds. Let us all be of one mind. Bring our minds together to make changes that we need for our children and for the legacy we're leaving behind. No go at go on again.
Thank you, Ellen. I'm going to now ask Vivian Michel to come and speak. She is the director of Quebec Native Women. La présidente or directrice? Présidente, sorry, she's the president.
Wait, no te me dejé. Kung bagat no, kung hindi po nga ka depende kung nga mag digiminan student de heji. Mandong kita digiman student de 8 ans. Bonjour tout le monde. Mon prénom est Viviane, je suis la présidente de la Femme autochtone du Québec. Et j'ai la rage. J'ai la rage après deux grandes déceptions. Où est-ce qu'on peut voir que la justice fait de l'injustice par rapport aux Premières Nations, par rapport à nos femmes, par rapport à nos hommes. J'ai la rage d'un système qui exerce la discrimination. J'ai la rage de voir que nos sœurs, nos filles, nos enfants, nos futures jeunes filles ne seront pas protégées par le système. J'ai vraiment la rage. 2 grandes déceptions en si peu de temps. Et en même temps, ça nous fait voir depuis combien de temps qu'on dénonce toutes les injustices que l'on vit. Depuis combien de temps qu'on dit qu'on n'est pas protégé. Et ça nous montre encore en 2018 que nos sœurs ne sont pas protégées, que le système n'est pas fait pour protéger nos femmes. Voilà le résultat, vous en êtes témoins. Elle n'est pas facile. Elle n'est pas facile à avaler. Et on se demande encore, on entend les gouvernements dire la réconciliation. My God, on est loin. Parce qu'on est en train de devenir enragé. On est encore loin de se réconcilier quand on sait que le système judiciaire ne s'applique même pas pour nous. On est encore loin de se faire entendre encore, à faire des manifestations de ce genre. Combien de temps encore? On a besoin d'avoir une justice équitable, nous aussi. On a besoin que nos sœurs, nos filles se promènent en toute sécurité. On a besoin que justice s'applique. Ce sont vos règles. Ce sont votre fonctionnement. L'État a mis sur pied un système de justice, sauf qu'on a été mis de côté. Complètement de côté. Et l'impact que ça peut avoir, on ouvre une porte, et je vais toujours le redire, on ouvre une porte à une violence gratuite. Où est-ce que nous, les femmes autochtones, on va être les meilleures cibles? Parce que vous pouvez nous tuer. Parce que vous pouvez nous violer. C'est ça ma rage. J'ai tellement un rêve qu'on puisse avoir les mêmes protections de vous que vous avez. Je ne veux pas faire de discrimination, mais c'est des faits, c'est des constats.